more that we first started Tech Breakfast in Baltimore, it was just literally 10 of us sitting around a table sharing demos and ideas. And I'm like, well, I don't know how long this is going to last. I mean, how much tech is there in this state? It turns out a lot. And so I guess the question is, like, how, from each of your perspectives, maybe explain a little bit about what your agency, what your group does, and how are we going to continue to get this momentum and build this state into a huge engine of economic creation. So maybe go to Sally first, and then Tim, and then
So I'm the most local of the three of us, but we're all on a first name basis with each other, and when you touch one of us, you touch all of us, which is part of the beauty of Maryland. It's an incredibly collaborative environment. The state, Department of Business and Economic Development, and my department, the Montgomery County Department, collaborate on a number of projects, including support for growing companies on a retention or attraction basis. So we work with everybody from I'm thinking about starting a business to I've started a business and I need a place but not sure I'm ready for a lease. So we have a fairly robust incubator system, a nice array of shared office venues that are also available for startups. We do a lot of programming. Our calendar on our news, on our website is extremely robust, and I would encourage any of you who are in the area to make sure that you subscribe and look at it often. For business events, not just done by the county and the state, but by all of the business organizations, including Tech Breakfast is on our calendar. And then it goes on from there. I have specialists in our department who work with people in specific industry segments, life sciences, IT, health IT, federal contracting, cybersecurity, where we have a whole new sector that's growing very rapidly. We work on master plans, which is not of that much interest to you, I think, at this stage, unless you're a resident here, in which case you really care. And we cover the agricultural preserve. So what many of you, particularly our foreign visitors, may not know is that a third of our county is reserved for agricultural purposes. And we do a lot to promote that sector, including agricultural science, including farm to table, including food hubs, etc. So if you're in the ag end of the business, we want to talk to you as well. So all you need is an idea, raise your hand, come talk to any one of us, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction.
I've got one.
Okay.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, it is on, okay. My name is Tim DeWill. I'm with the Maryland Department of Business and Economic Development. What is that? All right. What is DBED? DBED is a secretarial function from the governor. There's about 225 of us. We are mostly located in the World Trade Center. We have a number of different groups that specialize in different things. So we have people that do site location. We have people specialized in doing business development. I would characterize them as being the on-the-ground people that are out meeting with the jurisdictions, that are out meeting with companies. So business development, and if there's site location necessary, we have specialists in cyber, specialists in manufacturing, and then my group, I'm in the Office of Finance Programs. We administer all of the financing programs, tax credits, etc., out of DBED. So generally, your first point of contact is probably going to be the jurisdictions, is probably going to be Sally and her group.
And I'm nicer anyway.
What do? We interact with companies directly. We support projects in the counties. Sally mentioned the Cyber Center. Right? So we have an investment we're putting in that. We're putting investments in various incubators, and we have over time in Montgomery County. We have other programs which can support companies directly. We have a credit enhancement guarantee program for any size business. You go to your relationship bank, you talk to your bank, I need a $100,000 line of credit. To the extent the bank says, fine, but you have a collateral deficiency in your deal, we use the MIDFA product to support that deficiency. As Sally mentioned, one of the things we do is to support small business in the jurisdictions. So we understand we're at 10,000 feet. We cannot be on the ground where Sally and others are. So we have programs that put money into their programs. They have revolving loan funds for small businesses. So on an annual basis, should they need it or wish it, we can match their support into those. We can also use the guarantee program to support their loans out of the revolving loan funds. Let's say there's a startup or a small business, the county recognizes the importance. They want to put $100,000 into this business. There is a risk. I have the money, it's startup. Right? So they come and say, look, state, will you help us? Will you guarantee a portion of this $100,000? That diversifies their risk. We're willing to guarantee $50,000 of the 100, so it helps in that situation. So other funds, there's a program called VLT funds. VLT funds is brand new in the last 2 years. With all the casino gambling, other things going on, the state said, look, we're going to start a fund, and we're going to take 1.5% of the proceeds that come out of the casinos, and we're going to put it into something called the Small Minority Women-Owned Business Fund. That has become what's called the VLT fund. There are 7 fund managers in the state. The Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, Western Maryland, Eastern Shore, and the Maryland Small Business Development Finance Authority. VLT money, okay, has softer terms than a bank. In other words, they are willing to take more risk than a bank would take. So if you're a startup company and you're looking for a loan, your traditional bank a lot of times is going to say, well, you need to guarantee it, you need to pledge your house, you need all sorts of things. VLT, not so much. I would encourage you to go to our website. It's called choosemaryland.org. On the website, we'll list all these programs. It'll list the 7 fund managers, names and addresses. It will list the different funds I've talked about, plus a host of others. The best thing to do, though, is to get in contact with your local economic development folk for the small business level. A lot of times, Fortune 500s, others will contact us directly, but it's better to contact your local economic development because they can understand your niche and your importance better than we can. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rob Rosenbaum. I guess I get the back cleanup, but that's okay. I run an organization called TEDCO, and TEDCO was created with one mission in mind, and that was to get technologies out behind the closed doors of labs and out of garages and into commercial space. So what we do is we fund everything from proof of concept activities in a research lab to business case analysis. We will help support the funding to take a license from a university or a lab to create a business. We'll actually also help to fund that business once it's started. That's one aspect of what we do. Funding is important. The other aspects of what we do, though, are mentoring and networking, and those can be equally critical for the success of an early stage business. Many entrepreneurs are brilliant at something, but typically not brilliant at everything. So we have a network of programs and mentors that can help fill in around the edges and help you learn what you need to do to get your business going and how to do it. As I said earlier, sort of the top of our pyramid is actually us providing you with a personal and professional business coach that would work with you for up to a year to help you advance yourself and your skills. Backing all the way down from that, we have group coaching sessions and networking. The other thing that we do is run a couple of very large entrepreneur-focused network conferences a year. Our big one is in the fall. We had over 600 people last year. And we really, we've sort of framed it as a by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs program because it's all about how to grow your business, learning the lessons that other entrepreneurs have learned learn from their mistakes so you can make your own different mistakes, because you will definitely make mistakes, and know that there is a peer of folks out there that are going through the same things as you. It can be very lonely as you're struggling through your business challenges, not knowing where to turn or not having somebody that you can commiserate with. This allows you to find a lot of those people. TEDCO is a statewide organization. We are unaffiliated with any jurisdiction or any university or federal lab. We are funded by the state, but as an unaffiliated organization, we also can act as a convener and are very aware of what's going on in the state. We're a staff of 15, but our 15 folks end up sitting on about 25 different boards, commissions, incubator boards, or advisory boards around the state. So we really have a good knowledge of what's going on in the entrepreneurial community. And if you don't know where to go, you can always give TEDCO a call, and we will also help you point in the right direction.
All right, great. There's the right people here. So let's open this up here to questions. I know I've got a bunch here, but I want to really be mindful of the audience first. So if anybody has any first crack questions, let's get it. Let's hear Tom's here.
This may have already been covered, but if any three of you all could expound. I own a startup. It's in Prince George's County, Maryland, and I love what you're doing in the way of mentorship, because I think that's huge, and definitely want to talk to you about that. But I think one of the biggest things to me is funding. And I know a lot of times when I meet with, not as specifically someone from TEDCO, but someone from the state about funding, it's normally some loan or something attached to have some sort of collateral, which is completely understandable. That's not always the case. I'm pretty sure there's other opportunities, which is why I asked this question. But I want to know, what are the funding opportunities out there that don't necessarily require collateral on the other side of it?
So that probably comes to TEDCO, and that would be our tech commercialization fund. And if you align yourself with one of the incubators in Prince George's County that are publicly supported, we can actually invest up to $100,000 in your company, non-recourse, non-collateralized money.
Yeah, and I think Rob is, for the most part, Prince George's County has their own revolving loan fund, a very large one. I don't know if you've talked with them directly or not, but they have a very large source of funds. It would be in a loan format, though. It would not be a grant.
And what I'll tell you is what you probably already know, but so for everybody's sake, local money doesn't cross borders. So if you're a Montgomery County company, we'll take a look at what we can do to help you financially. If you're not, we'll send you to your economic development people at the local level. I mean, we love you just as much, except that we're funded by our taxpayers, and our taxpayers want companies to grow in the county. So
There's that terrible separation between venture and loans. Okay, so. And trying to bridge that gap, people have been talking in the 16 years I've been there. We have sat and worked on how to bridge that gap, because when you're venture, all right, the people that are putting up the money, they understand this is a risk and the money could be lost. Now they're going to underwrite and scrutinize that. On the other side, when it is not venture and it is public money, they want to understand that it's been underwritten and collateralized and looked at very thoroughly, because it's all our money. And so that's that difference in the netherworld between venture, which people putting it in, they understand that. They know they could lose that money. And over more when you get to the loan side, becomes a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm. So, this question about money comes up a lot. I had this conversation, an intense version of this conversation yesterday, which I'll spare you. And I guess a little bit to Rob's point, and that is that, although this is relevant for all of you, and that is that, to what extent is do you think money is the primary thing that's holding back or preventing sort of large scale venture creation and expansion of the state? Or is it expertise? Actually, my feedback was well, in a lot of cases, I see a lot of these startups, we can give them money, but a lot of them have to be honest, there's not a lot of experience here in how to grow companies that are, billion-dollar software companies. How people have had experience in doing M&A or IPO. There's a lot of great companies. And there are a lot of big companies in the state. I look, especially in Montgomery County, there's a ton of huge companies there. So how can we get the expertise, perhaps, out of these companies that have already built billion-dollar plus companies and share that with the rest of the tech ecosystem? Or perhaps you can give me another perspective on that question.
Well, that's exactly why TEDCO developed what we call the Executive Exchange Program, because it is that tiered level of coaching and mentoring. You know, I talk often about entrepreneurs don't know what they don't know, and one of the biggest things they don't know is that they need help. And creating that help is important. There are a couple of ways that it can be done. Number one is for organizations like a public entity like a DBED or TEDCO or a Chamber of Commerce or a local economic development organization to try to draw on their networks. But the best way to create that successful network is for those entrepreneurs that have been successful and cashed out to stick around locally and start to give back and teach the folks what they've done. And you need that virtuous cycle of giving back in order to really build that large community.
So my answer to your question, Ron, would be both. I do think that if you ask, and I was in a room full of about 50 CEOs from the biotech community at the end of last week, and we asked them what was missing, and the only answer was money. Okay, so obviously that's key on minds, and it's needed as fuel for what you all are doing. But like Rob, we agree that most of our beginning entrepreneurs have expertise in some areas, but not all areas. And so we're augmenting what's already been done. I mean, there's how many 100,000 businesses in the state? He can't cover them all. So at the local, because you don't have enough, 15 people? I don't think so. But we are starting, and we'll have up and running by this summer, a team mentoring approach based on a program that has been developed by MIT alumni that has been extraordinarily successful. It's been implemented in about 25 communities around the world, mostly in the US, but a couple of international cities. Stunningly successful in the way one usually measures these things, which is the number of jobs created, the amount of capital raised, and the longevity of the business. It's still around. And it does a bit of what Rob said. It puts a team of people together around a company. It is by invitation and acceptance. It's not by right. And we are working in conjunction with the Tech Council of Maryland to implement this. So I couldn't agree more that both the coaching, the access to experience and expertise, and money are necessary.
And just a very short answer, but I think it is, you know, there is a lot of expertise in the industry. So you have a company that is doing cyber, bio, whatever. You have a scientist, you have someone, they have tremendous expertise in what they know. Out of the thousands and thousands of business plans looking at them, it is getting that financial model or plan into a format which others will recognize as success. So in other words, you know, it's all great that I have the scientific product down pat, I know that. But the groundwork on how I'm going to move the company financially forward, you know, pro forma balance sheet, income statement, to the extent that financial advisors or FAs are available, I would recommend that for people who are not financially strong, they will put together a package which a bank or TEDCO or venture group, someone will look at. They will make a believer out of how I'm going to get there financially, because they believe the people understand that, not just the scientific part of it. That's the biggest thing that I have seen in my 35 years.
Okay, last one, and then we'll wrap it up, Mark.
And which of your organizations would be able to help somebody like me network into the federal government and the state governments at the level I need to participate?
Well, go ahead.
I would think at the state government, we can certainly, I can take that back with me and have the people within DBED find you the appropriate resources within the state to talk to about that. Federal, possibly, but I know I can at least do that at the state level.
TEDCO has a number of federal relationships. I'm not sure if they're what you need, but we do have a number of federal programs, and we have one person on staff that would be able to tell you if we can help or not.
Ditto.
So how does, like, let's say someone like Mark is already like like as funded as they want to be, which of course is never the case. But let's just say that's the case, and they want to still engage for that. Let's say they're like, oh, I love TEDCO, but I don't really need any of the vehicles that you have, but I really want that access. Is it possible for them to engage like that?
Absolutely. We are more than happy to help with anything that revolves around entrepreneurship, innovation, and funding, whether that be mentoring, coaching, networking, financing, you name it, we'll help with it.
Okay, that's good. I guess everybody else can say the same stuff. All right, great. Well, I know we're running long, so let's just give these wonderful panelists a quick round of applause. Stick around if you want. I know two of you have to run out. Do you have anything finally you want to?
I just, again, wanted to say welcome and thank you for joining us from our foreign visitors. It's so refreshing to have you here. Loved hearing your stories. Congratulations and good luck to you, and let us know if we can help you.
Sounds great. Good job. Thank you, guys. And on that note, let's thank all of you, all of the participants in this program, all of you attendees for coming. We're always looking to do things. We're trying to push more creative stuff here at the Montgomery County Tech Departments in particular. So if you're interested in presenting anything, demo anything in the future, if you're interested in sponsoring or being part of this thing, in the meantime, go out there, do awesome stuff, and see you at the next Tech Breakfast.
Yes, because I need to have the contact.